We call the City Council meeting of August 25th, 2015 back to order. First item will be a Pledge of Allegiance by Ryan Lowry from Troop 1532. Ryan?
Will the audience please rise? Put your right hand over your heart, and can you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. The audience may be seated.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We will now have a presentation, the oath of office and badge pinning for some firefighters. Would the council please come down and...
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you're coming down, I'll start by introducing our three firefighters we have the honor tonight to recognize for their completion of their 12-month probation and being sworn in as permanent firefighters for West Jordan. I appreciate everyone in the audience for your attendance. We're close to that maximum occupancy load of 126, but we have, it might look safe, we have a lot of chiefs here, not enough Indians to put out fires if we have one, but we'll make sure everybody is safe. Thank you all for coming. The three firefighters we're going to get sworn in tonight. The first one is Alex Harris, and his wife Stephanie will be pinning his badge. When Alex, as I'm reading your bio, if he'll come up and stand to my right. Alex grew up in West Jordan. He's lived here his entire life. He's been married for almost 12 years. He met his wife on a blind date. They have two boys, a 2.5-year-old and a new baby. Alex went to school at UVU where he earned an applied associate's degree in emergency services and his fire certifications, training through Utah Fire and Rescue Academy. Alex loves to play basketball, work out, hiking. He's been on most of the tallest peaks in the Wasatch Range and has hiked through many of the slot canyons in southern Utah. Alex is extremely proud to be a firefighter, and he loves that he's able to represent his hometown. Today he's joined by his father and mother, Dan and Ruth Harris, Bob and Kathy, and his children, Jace and James, and again his wife Stephanie will be pinning his badge. We'll invite you up in just a minute. Kenneth Moeller, if you'll come forward. Kenneth started in the fire service in 2009 as a wildland firefighter. In 2010, he started with the Bluffdale City Fire Department as part-time, where he still works part-time. He's also owned his own business for 12 years as a licensed concrete contractor. In his spare time, he enjoys the outdoor, hunting, fishing, being with his friends, and doing home improvement projects. He's joined by his wife Kathy, his daughter Taylor, and his mom Eileen, who spent 16 plus years as a dispatcher for Valley Emergency Communication, and she will be pinning his badge on tonight. And our last firefighter is Clayton Mackey. I've been saying that wrong, Clayton, I'm sorry. He's the youngest of three siblings. He has an older sister and brother. His childhood, he grew up in South Jordan. When he was 14, he moved to Cedar Fort, where he lived until he got married. He now lives in Lehigh with his wife Rachel and their son Trey, who will be 3 years old in October. He's been married for 4.5 years. He grew up going to a lot of rodeos, as his brother and sister competed in them. He did not follow suit at first. He loved playing baseball. Played all through high school and finally ended up competing in rodeos his junior and senior year in high school. After high school, he served an LDS mission to the Philippines. When he returned from there, he started attending UVU, and competed on the college rodeo team for a year. During that first year of college is when he decided he wanted to pursue firefighting as a full-time career. He started taking classes at UVU, started volunteering in his hometown of Cedar Fort for almost 5 years. Then he got married and moved away from Cedar Fort. After he was married, he went through paramedic school. After completion, he received a part-time job with Eagle Mountain Fire Department, continued part-time till they merged, and recently with Unified Fire Authority. He was fortunate to be able to be hired here at West Jordan. He loves being a firefighter. It's his best job. Home life is great. He enjoys camping, hiking, fishing, hunting, and loves to be active in the outdoors. Today he's joined by his wife, Rachel, who is pinning his badge on, also his son Trey, his father Terry, and his in-laws Stan and Alicia Gertie, along with their children Hope and Jeff. So at this time, I'll ask our city clerk, Ms. Melanie Briggs, if she will give the oath of office.
Raise your hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah and the laws and ordinances of the City of West Jordan, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
As they're signing their paperwork, if you're the selected one to pin their badge on, if you'll come forward. Again, if you want to take pictures, please feel free to come up. Remember, the sharp end goes straight in. They'll tell you when it's through the shirt. Go ahead.
Communications. Bryce.
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. First of all, I would just like to quickly reference that we received an email from Rich Hathaway from the Utah Soccer Alliance. I won't read the whole letter, but he just goes on to mention his extreme gratitude to West Jordan City, the largest, most successful event yet. They had 362 teams participate, both boys and girls from 8 to 18, from Wednesday morning to Saturday of last weekend. They had over 660 soccer matches played during the tournament, and they just want to, again, thank our faculty for the wonderful fields that they have maintained. They praise Brooks and his crew for an amazing year. They are so friendly and willing to help with everything we need. We could not be more successful without them, so they wanted to express their gratitude to you and to all of our staff, so I share that publicly. The next item is we have an opportunity to, a desire to work with the council to have possibly a work session or some other method that we can meet with you to talk about some of the parameters for our economic development, both tools that we want to make sure that we're okay with you as a council, that we're using correctly, meaning incentives or things like that, that we aren't overstepping our bounds, and to make sure that we also are pursuing the right types of businesses that are either brought to us through EDCU or other means that come to us, that we know that we're seeking the best economic opportunities for the city of West Jordan. We're just wondering if the council would support a work session at some time in the future. We'll work with Melanie to find a time that meets your schedule. Would the council be open to that?
Councilmember Higgins.
Yeah, thanks. I think, perhaps maybe there's actually 2 annual meetings of the International Retailers Association, and perhaps we start by, like a lot of the other cities do, and kind of corral our whole council and start seeking out some businesses that, David and his staff can work with. But I don't know if really we need to spend time on us. We want to go out and find people to come to our city because it's a piece of clay ready to just mold. And I don't know of anybody that would want to eliminate a business.
Well, there are certain businesses that may not have the best application in our city. That's what we'd like to talk about. Obviously, we don't want to chase any businesses away. We're excited for business to come to the city, but that sometimes there are fits that may not be of the type that may have the best outcome. And so those are the kind of things that we would like to discuss with the council, a public meeting. So again, it's for a work session. We just would need to know that the council would support that. I see some heads nodding. Obviously, what we can do is work with Melanie and find out if we have a consensus.
I'll bring it back for discussion and a motion rather than do consensus and straw poll, because if you want council action, we probably should do it by an agenda item and motion. I think that, because you're asking us, aren't you asking us the body?
Well, we asked the council for other meetings without having it on the agenda, just to know if the council's open to work sessions and things. But if that's how the council would like to do it, we can certainly put it on the agenda. And
I would say no, thanks.
I'm okay with it. Let's meet together.
okay, we'll work with Melanie to find a time and date that works for the council. Thank you.
Deputy City Attorney,
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Dave Elka.
Yes, have some uplifting news. We're seeing a lot of activity in the infill sites in West Jordan. As you know, the CVS pharmacy is under construction. We're ready to issue permits on the Holiday Oil project at 27th West, 78 South. We've seen some peaked interest in the site at 13th West and 78 South, and we expect some activity there shortly. One other item of good news is that Weingarten, the owner of the stores at 70th South and Redwood, have just signed a lease for the former Honk space with a retailer that sells outdoor equipment. So those are some good things that we can brag about a little bit. That's my report.
Brian.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Ryan.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Justin.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Chief McElwee.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just one update. I should have done this a couple of weeks ago, but if you recall, Susan Cahoon in our office, who retired at the end of June, July, we filled her position. We advertised internally, externally. Dion Diamond, no relation to Chief Diamond, from our animal control department, actually was selected and filled that position. So any interaction you had with my office and dealt with Susan, Dion will be that new contact. So with that hire and the 3 that we just done tonight, I probably can say the fire department, we are fully staffed. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Diamond.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Councilmember Rice.
I've struggled with what to say tonight. What I do want to say is that the last meeting 2 weeks ago, for an hour into the meeting, I was still shaking because of the physical aggression that I saw right next to me in closed meeting. It was inappropriate. I have experienced a lot of inappropriate. I am tired of inappropriate, and I will not stand for it anymore, especially physical aggression. I am tired of feeling unsafe. I teach primary on Sundays, and one of my students asked me why I have a rock. And the first thing out of my mouth was because when I'm at City Council, I don't feel safe. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Southworth.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I have an item on our agenda tonight. It is 8F, discussion of possible action regarding Ordinance 15-26, amending the 2009 West Jordan Municipal Code, Title I, Administrative Chapter 7, regarding the mayor's salaries and duties. I would request that that item be tabled to a date uncertain. Thank you.
That's item 9F,
Or 8F. Item 8F.
8F. How come my
Those
papers?
should be 9. I think it's with amending the agenda.
I may not have the amended agenda if it is.
They're 11.
It is business item F, regardless of 8 or 9, it's just business item F.
Discussion and possible action regarding ordinance 1526, amending the
That is correct.
2009 Municipal Code, Title I, Administration, Chapter 7, regarding the mayor's salary and duties. You're pulling that?
Correct.
Councilmember Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor. Similarly, although for different reasons, I fully planned on discussing business item E tonight. I was prepared for that discussion until I received an email from one of our contract attorneys late this afternoon. I'd asked for some advice and legal direction on this topic, and I'll just read a short portion.
Is this attorney-client privilege?
No. This is not attorney-client privilege. It was merely I just asked for an interpretation before we
Point
come
of
back.
order, Mayor, can you discuss this if he's not going to pull the item?
He has the floor.
So, thank you, Mayor. So essentially, it's a long email, but I'm just giving a reason to the public of why I'm pulling this item and what my desire to pull it. The staff report was prepared for my request, and for the public's sake, you may not know what E is. E is amending the 2009 West Jordan Municipal Code Title I Administration with respect to the duties and responsibilities of the city manager, the council, the mayor, and department heads. In essence, the reasoning was there could be some ambiguity as to the original intent of the 1977 code that pertains to our form of government, specifically with respect to the mayor's duties with completing contracts. And I feel strongly in this issue that the purpose of me bringing it forward had no other purpose other than to conform with state law. We see over the years, and this is no fault really of any individual other than previous councils and even potentially this council in 2013, just letting little things creep in that might not be in conjunction with the 1977 code. So that long answer is that, or the long response is to explain that I would like to pull this item so that I can work further with the city manager and city staff just to ensure that we do this right, because I don't want to change it to go right back and have to change it back. And specifically, that's the reason, because the Utah Code from 1977 makes this statement, and it's very important for everyone to understand this, because it's not in the written Utah Code. You actually have to go back and look at the old books to find this. And it says specifically,
What section are you reading from?
it says 10-3-1223. It says, all bonds, notes, contracts, and written obligations of the municipality shall be executed on its behalf by the mayor. And then it has some extra words with that. And for me, I want to comply with that, and I want to ensure we do. And I had concerns with what was being proposed tonight that it might not be in compliance. So with that being said, if the council has no objection, that I'd like to work with staff further before we discuss it. Thank you. Well, actually, what I'd rather do is just ask staff to put this back on the agenda, but I'll work with staff over the next 2 weeks to make sure we'll be prepared with the statement. That's the plan. Thank you.
So I understand, with all these people that are here to speak on these items, you're tabling it tonight and putting it off till September 9th?
That's correct. That's correct, Mayor. With that explanation tonight.
Councilmember Hagan.
Thanks, Mayor. First thing, concerning economic development, I was privileged to sit down with our economic development director and some of his staff this week, and I think that, you know, we have a actually we discussed, some of the things that are happening in our city. There's a lot of good things happening. My appreciation to your staff. And one of them, that particularly concerns me is, just without revealing, there's a $120 million investment in our city. Now, who would not want that in our city? So, when I hear things such as we should pick and choose who we should come, we want infrastructure that brings in tax increments, we need jobs. This is how we build our tax base as a city. So I'm not I'm a businessman, and I'm never going to say to anybody out there, do not come to our city. We have open arms. So that's why I voted. I should say we really didn't vote. I was opposed to the acting city manager's proposal about deciding who we want to come to our city. I think we have an open arm type of policy. The other thing is, since it's been pulled, but yet, I've had hundreds of residents text me. One of my neighbors even stopped me in front of my house and say, what's going on in the city? Really? And to be frank with you, this legislation that was proposed tonight and the following week, following council, has created a lot of controversy among our residents. And the press is here. There's been talk about, building, changing our form of government. And we all should know, because we saw our fire department employees raise their hand, that we chose to defend the Utah State Constitution. And part of that, putting this back on our agenda again, violates our Constitution. So I'm just going to point that out. If you're not aware of what that says, maybe you should read it. It basically said the only one that can change, and it should be the only people that can change our form of government, are the resident by a vote of the people. That's how it's been from the foundation of our country, and it carries on to municipal change also. So any attempt to try to change the way our city is governed, who runs it, it's already in writing. The state mandates certain things, and I object to and even putting this on the agenda again. It's just out of the ordinary, and frankly, in my opinion, violates the Utah State Constitution. Thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items. I had a call from a resident that lives on Redwood Road stating that they're having an extreme problem with skunks. She said that they have called our animal control. They don't handle that. She's called pest control because she does have traps, and she has trapped some. Pest control charges $400 a trap to pick up a skunk. Then she called the Department of Wildlife, and they told her that they're trying to get the mayors in different cities to come up with funding so that animal control can take care of the skunk problem. And I told her I would just bring that to light here. Not that I could promise anything, but I guess she said it's just continual, and they seem to be breeding like rabbits, is how she put it. And so I wanted to bring that up because our animal control will not come and get them. The other thing I had was a call about, there's two cities now, I believe it was Midvale and Sandy, I may be mistaken there, that they're now allowing rain barrels so people can collect rainwater, if we ever get rainwater. And they wanted to know if there's any way we could pass an ordinance allowing our citizens to do the same. So those are my two items that we could look at and talk about. Thank you.
Just a clarification, the mayors have met about raccoons. It hasn't included skunks.
Oh, well, she said skunks. That's all she told me. Her name was Mrs. McAllister. That's all I know about her.
Okay. Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. 3 items. First of all, in the previous council meeting, we made a change to the water rate structure. I think we made the right decision in what was done. However, I think there's a second part to that, which is now revisiting the rate. The structure and the way that that's mechanized has a significant impact on what the ultimate rate is that the end user pays. With those changes finalized to the rate structure, I would like to revisit the rate that's being paid for the stormwater fee. And I would like to ask if there's any opposition to council giving direction to staff to prepare for that discussion at our next council meeting.
You have opposition?
Opposition, Mayor, thank you.
It appears that 6 are in favor, so we can go ahead with that direction to staff to bring that rate back. Okay. Number 2, this is a little bit of an odd one. In my neighborhood, there's a property that was recently sold for development, known as the Stedman property. This is about 7300 South on Redwood Road. That parcel was sold, and those who have acquired the parcel have been approaching neighboring property owners, stating that there is an issue with the plat or with the legal description, trying to get homeowners to sign off on a quitclaim, claiming that the city will require that they either take ownership of a ditch that exists on that property and spend thousands of dollars to pipe that ditch, or they turn this property over to the developer and give up any right that they may have to it. This has a number of folks very, very concerned. Some of them have been there since, well, the 50s and before. I've spoken briefly with our city engineer about this and some of the folks in development. They're aware, but I didn't want to give any direction without first coming to the body of the council. So I'm asking if there would be any objection to giving direction to staff to prepare some sort of memo or letter to the property owners who are near that property that explains the city's actual position on rectifying a problem that may exist on the legal description of the property. Is there any objection to that?
I would object that until we get a legal decision from our contracted attorneys. I think that's a legal question.
Okay, so 6 people are in favor of staff proceeding to move forward with some sort of communication to the residents.
Is this council action that we're doing, councilman?
Just directing staff to take action.
Okay, thank you.
Direction. Councilmember Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor. I apologize for trying to take the floor again. A statement was made before, so I want to make sure the public is very aware. I am sorry for any undue delay this may cause in the discussion of this item tonight. The purpose, which is the purpose of this reiteration, the purpose of the legislation is to conform with Utah State Code rather than be in contradiction to it. So that is the purpose, to conform to the Utah Code. Thank you, Mayor.
I have 2 items.
Mayor, if I may, I hadn't finished my items.
Okay, sorry. I thought you just apologize.
So the third item, and this is a more delicate issue to discuss, I'm torn about finding a way in which we as a council can proceed to work together civilly. In the past, I've been able to find ways to meet with everybody one-on-one and find common ground and be able to get along with every single person on this body, save one exception. I'm very frustrated by what we've seen in the last couple of days, where 2 people, it's my understanding, 2 people have tried to seek methods through the judicial system which would prohibit the council from even discussing matters that are of interest to the public. It's frustrating beyond belief to think that the atmosphere has degenerated to a point where we have to speak to each other through attorneys and we can't speak civilly face to face. In a prior meeting, I would please stop. I would point out for those in attendance that where does it say it? In the agenda, it mentions that we're trying to maintain decorum. Council requires citizens help maintain that decorum of the meeting by not applauding, booing, turning off electronic devices, or engaging in verbal attacks. So please, I would appreciate compliance with that. It's been frustrating beyond belief to think that we've degenerated to that point. I still think that there is a possibility that we can find a way to work together productively. In a prior council meeting not many weeks ago, I brought up in the remarks section at the end of the meeting the idea of moving forward with a mediator. I've been in touch with our interim city manager and attorney to try and push that forward, but it's been relegated to a lower level of priority because of all these other fires that have been out there. I would ask if the council has any objection to making this a priority, to work with a mediator to help resolve the rifts that exist so that we can find a way to move beyond the issues that we have and get back to the business of maintaining the city for our residents. I would like to direct staff, and again, when we discussed this last time, it wasn't directing staff specifically, but rather one of the contract attorneys, Tracy. I'd like to direct him to bring something back immediately. So if any action is required by the council, it can be on the next agenda. If no formal council action is necessary and we can get somebody involved prior to that, I would like to do that. If we could have somebody here by the end of the meeting, I think that would be phenomenal. Is there any objection to moving forward with mediation at all haste, with all haste?
Councilmember Hagan.
Thanks, Mayor. You know, I agree with Councilman McConaughey. We need to have some kind of, our council body and our city manager, whether it be acting city manager, the chief of police, or the acting manager of our economic development, that we have some kind of working relationship. It is very problematic at this point. And so I am for mediation and directing staff, as long as we do it as a body and we include probably one of the most important, and I think we're coming down to 4 candidates of our selecting a new city manager, and maybe we wait until we select that new city manager and we can try to come together. No, I agree with that. I would be a proponent.
And to clarify, my issue isn't the council working with city management, it's the council working with the council. Regardless of elections, regardless of change in leadership, we're still going to be working together till the end of the year. I don't think it can wait. So that said, are you still in favor of moving forward with all haste? No objections? Okay. Thank you. Bryce, would you relay that to Mr. Cowdell? Thank you.
Are you done?
I am. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. First, I would like to point out that anytime I believe that state law has been compromised, I will do whatever it needs to be in my office to protect the citizens of this city, no matter what that is. I want to make that statement clear. Second, I'm very disappointed that for the second time, for 2 more weeks, these issues have been postponed. That makes 1 month that the residents have come here to speak on these issues, and we're not hearing them again. They've been tabled again for another 2 weeks. That's a big disappointment. The third thing, Tara Mitchell, this is, if anyone doesn't have an opposition to this, I need staff to review. Evidently, the Westland Elementary 7180 South is ranked as number 2 to have a priority for speed bumps going into Westland. There's a dangerous situation there. And evidently, our traffic engineer stated that she needed to have a meeting in her driveway with folding chairs to discuss the speed bumps with her neighbors, the City Council and West Jordan Police, even though they've signed petitions and they were ranked number 2. So I'd like that resolved if we could, as quick as possible. I think our own crew could do it if no one has opposition to looking at doing that. Councilmember South.
Thank you, Mayor. Just clarify, do you mean are you saying skip that step of the process, or just
I am.
get on with it, really is what you're
I
saying?
am, yes. Skip that step of the process. If it's already been ranked number 2, yes, that's what I'm proposing. Skip that step. Let's take care of the citizens.
Right, and I think you can. I've been through
And
that
the
process
safety
before quite a few times. In fact, I think there are people in this room in the back who went through this process in a neighborhood.
Point of order, Mayor.
And it really helps the
He has the floor, he
neighborhood.
has the floor.
I thought you had the floor,
He has the
Mayor.
floor.
Appreciate that, thank you. It helps a neighborhood to really think about what they're doing, and then that meeting was very helpful. Our process is really good. It helps them decide where they want to put it. Put it from this house, no, put it over here. Where do you put it? And they work that out together based on some criteria. Now, if there's a way to speed that up, that's probably a better idea, but I think skipping that might be doing a disservice to that neighborhood in the long run, of where these speed bumps are placed and what have you. So, if this neighborhood is okay with going through, I wouldn't stand in the way of that, but the process is a really good process, and we may be doing them a disservice by skipping that. Thank you.
To be clear on that, maybe I wasn't clear enough. She stated that all of the neighbors had signed the petition, and that's how it got ranked. So I don't think that holding a picnic table in the driveway needs to be done, but please address that and bring it back to us. Thank you. I have quite a number of comments, citizens' comments. I don't know if you're all allowed to speak on these issues if you'd like. Many have signed up tonight. The two items that looks like most everyone has signed up for have been tabled. But we'll go through the list. Everyone is allowed to speak. For 3 minutes, please state your name and address. Except for those that have signed up, I have your address here. Alexandra Efremo.
Mayor and Council, let's pause for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, may we pause for a moment to reflect from our common goals before we begin the business of this meeting. We are privileged to gather here together in a system that gives us freedom to participate in our own governance. Whether from within or through the strength provided by our personal faith, we seek wisdom, understanding, fairness, and resolve in the fulfillment of our duties and in the pursuance of our goals. May our differences be reflected and our common aspiration of promoting the public good be our guide in carrying out the tasks we are about to undertake. Thank you. I'm pursuing justice and truth, and I'm going to repeat from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 20. For there shall be no reward to the evil man or woman. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. The second one is Matthew, verse 19, chapter 19. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I'm disappointed in tonight. Here, all these people are here. Gas, time, everything. They're here to discuss 9E and F. I'm disgusted. I'm still waiting for the one council person to apologize to the mayor and the council and the people of West Jordan for the despicable behavior on April 29th. I am a citizen of West Jordan of 21 years. I have the right to complain. I cannot believe I do believe in my heart that the devil has entered several council people. And I'm disappointed in our assistant manager for saying we're going to choose the businesses that are going to come to West Jordan. That's despicable. Pretty soon you're going to say people. We're going to have to pick people who are going to come to West Jordan. Maybe you're not going to allow me to live in West Jordan because I have a big nose. I'm sorry for that. It's just despicable. I don't know why, we say we want people to vote. The evil ones, plural. We want them to, people say one thing, then they get in office, they say this, then they do this another year later, then they say this. I cannot, just remember y'all, that we're all going to leave this earth, and we're all going to have to answer to our Maker, and our Maker is God. God is in the Pledge of Allegiance. I guarantee you all, if it weren't for either one that was elected 2 years ago, we would not be discussing 9E and F. I'm ashamed of the evil ones on this council. Thank you, Mayor.
Jalen Thomas.
I too want to address the business items 8E and F, mainly the city code portion where 1-6-6, the city manager's responsibility to the city council, and it appears to remove the city manager's accountability to the council. The city council has one employee, and that is the city manager, and without accountability to the council, this could potentially violate the citizens of West Jordan the ability to petition for governmental redress of grievances under the First Amendment and potentially violate the citizens of West Jordan of certain rights, and shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, including implied rights, natural rights, background rights, and fundamental rights under the Ninth Amendment. The citizens have elected the 7 of you into office. Whether or not they love you, hate you, or could care less about you, you are our voice and not any city manager or department head. Since all of you have conflicting opinions of the law and accusations of wrongdoing, I have contacted the Salt Lake FBI field office to see if they will open a case with the public and private corruption team. And last night I filed a complaint with the state attorney general. This way there will be no argument on who's right or wrong and what laws the city should or should not be following. Hopefully they will hash out all the conflicts and accusations for the city to get it back on track. And I'll submit a copy of my complaint that I submitted last night to the Attorney General.
Russell Evans.
I'm here to comment on the proposal to have a part-time mayor. City, I moved here in 1987, been here a long time. My question is, why do we want a part-time mayor? Is our city getting smaller? Do we have less crime, less problems? Do we have a part-time city? To me, the proposal makes no sense. And so there I wonder what's the impetus behind the proposal. The last mayoral election, the citizens of West Jordan voted for a full-time mayor. One thing I've learned is that one of the tactics of the minority is to overturn the will of the people by accomplishing it in smaller forms. Examples include a single activist judge can overturn a vast majority of voters. In this instance, a mayor, 4 council members can overturn what the West Jordan citizens have already done. That's what they like to do, overturn things in smaller forms because they don't have a majority. So they seek it out in other ways. And I think West Jordan needs a full-time mayor. We have full-time problems. We have full-time residents. We have full-time issues, and we need to have it, and I think that's what the citizens want. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie Dole.
Dear Honorable Mayor and Council members, thank you for the time to address you. I speak in opposition to the agenda items that propose the reduction of our mayor's position from full-time to part-time, the reduction of the mayor's salary, and the reduction of the mayor's duties, all of which he was elected to have and to do. If any changes are to be made in these areas of the mayor's wage and duties, they should not be effective until the next mayoral term. I've seen no persuasive justifications for these proposed changes and urge each council member to vote no on these items whenever it is they finally make it on the agenda and are heard. They do not appear to be in the best interest of the citizens of West Jordan, and from all indications appear to be retaliation by council members who didn't get the mayor they wanted elected. I ask if you want to make any changes in these areas that a longer vetting period occur with citizen input, that a final vote not occur until January 2016 after our new district council members are sworn in, and that the implementation date not be until the beginning of the next mayoral term. I implore all council members to stop letting personal agendas and feelings get in the way of doing the business of the citizens of West Jordan. While I am glad the items I'm speaking against have been temporarily pulled from the agenda, I feel that this is in part hoping that we as citizens will stop showing up. We will not stop showing up. We will continue to watch and be here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dee Dee Harris?
Hello, my name is Teddy Harris, and I am speaking for the senior housing proposed crosswalk. We need this. There are many that are much like me. They have difficulty walking. They fall a lot. I have vertigo, not part-time. I have vertigo all the time. I've had brain surgery 2 times, knee surgery 2 times. We have difficulty walking. There are many that use wheelchairs, walkers, this type of thing, and we would very much appreciate it if you would approve the crosswalk across from our senior housing unit so that we do not have to walk the distance to the corner, which we are not able to do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn Christensen.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Christensen. I'm Betty's neighbor who just spoke. I live in the senior housing. And I want to inject a note of positivity here. We invited a number of your city officials over for a little walkabout to show what we meant about the crosswalk and how we need it. And I just want to tell you that they were so respectful, so responsive to our needs. Everyone can be very, very proud of them. I think Betty enumerated our needs as far as mobility impairments. Also, 7800 South and 3200 West seems really dangerous to us. If people are turning left in the intersection, I personally have just about hit someone, and I was watching like a hawk. But so we would appreciate it if you could come together and help us out, and I hope that you can come together as a council. This is my first experience, and I didn't realize that there were such problems here, but I would wish from the bottom of my heart for each of you to feel good about what you do and come together. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Williams?
Good evening. I'd like to bring up a couple of topics, and I'll just get right to the point. Number one is employee morale. Each one of you do know me. You know I've been involved with the city for many, many years as a volunteer, which I recently just had let several of the city employees know that I won't do anymore. I don't want to be part of the toxic environment. It's awful to come into the city. I have friends that are here that if they're seen talking to me might have retaliation taken away from towards them. It's not worth it. I've had several of the employees tell me that they dread coming to work. They're keeping their heads down. They're just getting straight to their office. They don't want to get in the middle of the drama. They're afraid of who they should and shouldn't talk to. And these are the employees that work here in the building, not the people that are necessarily in this room. They're everyday average employee that are working the floors. Golden parachute really irritates me when I hear that. There have been several employees that have left that have gotten a so-called golden parachute. The reason why, if you want to really dig into it, is because they could sue the city for the harassment they had to put up with. And not just the harassment, but the attempts to destroy their reputations so they can't find work other places. Backdoor deals. One thing that irritates me as a citizen is backdoor deals that I hear about. I heard that one of you went to a developer in the prison relocation committee, went to him and said, we'll give you $1 million if you can help us get off the list. I want to know why that was even done when the simple fact is we were being taken off the list anyway. The criteria is being changed, so we are going to be taken off the list. Now there's a possibility that the citizens are going to be liable to pay for something that one person said. Not the council as a whole, one person. Money. This is my money. This is everybody in here that lives here. This is our money. How much of our money is being wasted on lawsuits, on backdoor deals, and most importantly, how many good people do we have to lose before this behavior is straightened out? I've lived here for 30 plus years. I have volunteered for the city for well over a decade. And to have a volunteer that has stepped away from volunteering because they don't want to walk into an environment where you could cut the tension with a knife is sad. Now, I haven't completely cut off from volunteering. I'll do it from home. Anything I can do from home, I'm happy to do. But I implore you guys, if any of you are angry for me for bringing this up, I think you need to turn around and look at yourself and say, geez, have I done something to destroy somebody's reputation? Have I sent emails that are inappropriate and harassing? Have I done anything less than make this environment positive? You need to look at yourselves in the mirror and answer those questions. And if you can answer those honestly and say, no, I've been positive and I've done well, then there shouldn't be angry at me or anybody else for making statements like I am tonight. Thank you.
Luella Thompson?
I'm Luella Thompson. I live at 8957 South, West Jordan, Utah. I've lived here just about all my life, since I was 3 years old. And I am ashamed of you people. Absolutely ashamed of every one of you. I could take you out in the woodshed. I'd be happy. This backstabbing, this two-faced lying, this, what do you want to call it? Pods. Me and your friends. That one made me mad. Let's vote against him next time. I don't care what he's doing. Let's don't get up for him or her. This is terrible, guys. We elected a mayor. Leave him alone. Give him his time. If you want him out when his time is up, then run against him, do whatever you legally can do. But this here, lint picking and killing this thing every 2 weeks is nonsense. He deserves his position. He deserves his money. Leave him alone. The people of West Jordan, we're being made fun of. You guys might not know this, but we go out. I ride horses. I go out. Well, boy, you guys are in the news. What are you guys saying on the computers? Hey, guys, get with it. And this $44,000 raise is nonsense because he's got troubles at home. It causes friction at home. Well, let me tell you, if you want to give somebody the $44,000, give it to the police department and the fire department. They're the people that have stress at home. They don't know if their men are going to come, their husbands or wives are going to come back home after they strap that uniform on, alive or dead. So you want to talk about stress? Those are the two divisions that need the money. And you guys need to quit bickering about yourselves and having these little conflicts. You act like a bunch of little kids in a sandbox. You don't get your way, you're going to run and tell mama. Well, this is going to stop because I've lived here all my life, and I tell you, this is the first time I have really been upset at the council. I've stood behind it. Whatever you guys have wanted, I've been there. I've been a water master for years, literally years, and I can solve that one problem that you guys have right now. And young lady, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I don't even want to tell anybody that I live in this town anymore. And I've lived here all my life. And I'm 77 years old, and I'm ashamed of you. And I hope every one of you take a dang good look at yourselves and get with the program. Stop fighting over stupid things, because we'll get you out. Every one of you. We will get you out if this is what is going to keep happening. We will vote you out. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Larson.
My name is Lisa Larson. I live at 5210 West, 7800 South. I've lived here over 30 years, and I've been to City Council maybe 5 times. It's time. I'm here to stand by the mayor. I believe in everything that he's done so far. I actually even voted this voting time for him. After a 10-year legal battle, and after several presences at the City Council, not a one of you would hear our voice. Ms. Rice, I feel sorry for you, but I don't know if that rock's going to help. The only person that's hurt us in this city since that attorney has left this building is Melanie Briggs, Mayor Rolfe, and Bryce Hatterley. And I want you to know, it's been a very emotional family drama, $80,000 of our hard-earned money to fight for something that we paid for, was honest about, and signed up for. The I's were not dotted, the T's were not crossed. You guys need checks and balances, and you need morals and values. And you know who I'm talking about. It's time for a change. The mayor has come in. He's been paid well for what he's done. People don't like changes, but change is inevitable. We live on 5 acres, and we didn't have a single home around us for over 5 miles. Now we have over 300 homes around us. You cannot stop progress. This city is about progress. The progress is going to continue, and it's going to change. Mr. Hatterley and Mr. Rolfe and Craig Deering are the ones that came to our home, and they heard us out. They're the ones that walked our property, heard our voice, and stood by us. And I want you to know, also from my mother-in-law, she's 80 years old, it all but put her under the bus. She lost her hair. She had to go in for heart surgery. It was a very, very stressful 10-year process. I want to be a proud citizen of West Jordan. I've never been involved in politics, and nor have I stood before the city. But there's time for a change, and I want to be a proud citizen of West Jordan. So it's time that you people that have a high ego or have a different agenda, get out and get over yourselves. It's time for change. Only tabling this matter for the mayor to either be removed or decrease the salary, whatever is on the agenda, it's only going to prevent the inevitable. And again, I'd just like to say thank you for hearing our voice, and it's time now that we pay attention to what needs to be done to this city to clean up the mess that was handed to Mayor Rolfe and that you've come into. Thank you very much.
Thank you. June Christiansen.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in my support of the mayor and what he's done, and to speak out against the change of the structure of salaries, job duties, and the full-time versus part-time position. I appreciate the opportunity to speak what is in my mind tonight, even though this item has been tabled. We've lived in West Jordan, Lynn and Rasmus and myself. We've lived here for over 20 years. We've been through many city council meetings, mayorships, and watched the progress. And we know that in the last one, maybe 2, the growth at the rapid pace, there were problems that started to rise up in the city that were not fixed by the government of the city. And as we had the opportunity to vote a new mayor in, we selected the candidate that showed the most moral fiber and the courage to stand up and support the residents of West Jordan, and that would be Mayor Rolfe. As we voted him into this full-time position, we expect that he would be able to serve and do his job, that no one would try to circumvent the support that he was given to us, the citizens of West Jordan. He came out to our place and looked over water issues that were caused by development around us, and supported us as we've tried to fix those issues. He stepped out in a major way and talked about the whole drainage of West Jordan, and we know that the withdrawal from the aquifers in the city, 24 plus inches a year, we are not getting that kind of recharge back. The drought, on a good year, you might get 13 to 15 inches back of water, and in the drought condition, it's far less. As we lose water from West Jordan and it runs off with the development, the way that it's currently done to manage drainage, we are losing water at a fast pace down to the Great Salt Lake where it becomes unusable. We appreciate the fact that he stepped out and said a lot of things and is trying to fix that issue so that we have a better living condition here and water in the area. We appreciate the fact that he has some backbone, that he's put up with the opposition against him and has still managed to maintain a solid character. We want him to stay in his position. We hope that we will have our way as the residents of the city to let him finish and try to do everything he possibly can in support of us, the citizens of West Jordan. To change anything in the middle is unethical. It's a poor way to do business. And if there's any changes, at the end of the term, with the vote of the people, is probably the way that should be done. So in the meantime, we hope that all of you can take a good look at comments and the way you are. Make our needs as residents the primary thing that you are here to do. Put all of your energies in that direction and forget that you have personal differences. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all that I have signed up to speak this evening. If there's anyone else wishing to speak, now would be the time. We do have 2 public hearings later on the agenda. If you're here to speak for any other item, now would be the time.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm glad the 2 items were pulled. I was hoping we would have an opportunity to discuss them. My feeling is I hope they never come back. Tonight I would like to address the 2 issues that I believe are issues placed on the agenda from emotion and not logic. Personal politics. 9E and 9F. We should not be changing any elected official's job, hours, and pay that we, the citizens, voted in. I don't care if it's the mayor or any of the council people. While they were elected to that situation, they ought to complete that term. And to try and do this is nothing but retribution. Tonight, the City Council of West Jordan will again attempt to vote. So I don't need to read that because it didn't happen. But maybe in 2 weeks I'll come back. The City Council proposes to now reduce the mayor's job to part-time, remove his ability of oversight to city expenditures and contracts, and effectively erase the structure changes made back in 2013 by the then City Council, 4 of whom are still on the council. To paraphrase the mayor in a news story that was aired last Friday, he said, "I believe the citizens elected me to be the oversight on all the financial expenditures within the city for them. I believe the citizens think that's my job, and the citizens deserve that." Let me just add that that is the job of all of you, the council up there. It's not one person, it's all of you. And if you acquiesce and give it all to the staff, who are we as citizens? Who do we have as an advocate here at the city? To paraphrase, and I'm concerned that our council is going to allow staff to take over the responsibilities of the council. And if you read what you're trying to do, and I'm glad Chad changed that today, hopefully you'll look through that and see where the problems lie, and hopefully not bring it back. Now, I would like to ask the rest of the council to not allow that to happen, bringing it back. Thank you so very much. Craig Gearing, 8717 South, Royal Crest Drive, West Jordan. Over plus 30-year resident.
Dirk?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Dirk Burton, 4492 Black Elk Way, here in West Jordan. Now I'm going to cite these things according to the agenda that I looked at last, so the numbers may be slightly different in yours since there was a couple of addendums. 6I talks about hiring additional concrete people. I talked about this once before. I'm still concerned that we will be increasing the size of our government by hiring more people. I think it costs us less to hire subcontractors, and I think we get a great job done by them, and it'd be great to help support our local economy in doing that. 8B talks about the parks. I love our parks people, and I love our parks, but again, I feel like we're making our government larger again by making a separate parks department. I would be very cautious on that and look at that before you proceed and see if you can help me feel better about it. And then 2, I was going to mention 8E and 8F as well. Thank you for pulling those. From my perspective, it feels like those are probably due to the timing, attacking. And I don't know why I think that, because it's never happened to this council before, but it felt that way on this one. So pulling it is good. I know as you who created it, you probably have some good reasons that you justified, thought this is it, but I think the timing is really bad on there. So thanks for pulling it. I think it should be pulled for quite some time. What I'd like to see have happen is the council get together, like you did in your retreat, sit down, have it open to the public so we can come in and watch you and work these things out and discuss those in that atmosphere and work out the details and then come back. Usually you can get by with a retreat just once a year, but apparently we need more this year. So maybe another retreat would be really good, and let the public come and let us work together and do that. We are West Jordan residents, full of spirit, full of pride. How we love it here in old West Jordan, living and working side by side. We're determined not to falter. Firm and steadfast we will be, ever onward, always upward. We're great, we should say with humility.
Please.
In my opinion, regardless of the form of government, unless each of you can follow the duties of your position, nothing can be solved within the city. A lot of you have been acting like children, and I think some children could actually do better at your jobs. I've been here for pretty much all of my life, and it used to be a good thing to say I was from West Jordan, but now when I talk to adults discussing the issues, now they kind of look at me with a face of disappointment when I say this is where I'm from. Thank you. Megan Worthen.
Please. Please state your name and address.
Hi, that's kind of a long walk. I'm Trina McCleary, and my address is 1413 West, 6850 South. And I'm glad to be here today. First of all, I want Mayor Ralph to know that I appreciate him and support him. I voted for you, appreciate the things you stand for and the person that you are. A little bit about me. I have 5 children and almost a dozen grandchildren, and I'm an imperfect mother. As my husband and I have raised our children, we had a lot of squabbles. We had a lot of differences. And we handled those in different ways. Sometimes there was a little slap in the hand. Sometimes there was a little pepper in the mouth. Sometimes you were standing in the corner. Now my children are all adults. And we still have differences, and we have to find a way, and we try to find ways to come together so that we can be unified and we can be a happy family. Well, you are the leaders of the families in West Jordan. We voted you in, you are our leadership. And I believe that We need to be heard by the voice of the people. I do not want a change of the government in the middle of the term. I'm very much against that. And I appreciate that every one of you spend a lot of time on our behalf, and I think you try your best, but I would like to see if you can find some corners to stand in, if you can sing a song together, whatever it is you need to do to make the leadership of our city work. I think we can do a better job in supporting each other. We've heard much of this, of not using your own platform, not letting this be about you, but be about the good of the whole. So I sustain and support you and hope that you can find a way to be unified and support our mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Mike Withers, 8870 South Street, 2700 West. I just wanted to talk about, you guys about a year or so ago changed the chicken ordinance, so it was like 1 point, which is a great deal. Like I support the whole chicken thing, the whole rural farm. Unfortunately, some of us live in larger lots, and if you do the math on that, you can have like 80, 90 chickens. And I don't know if you've ever lived next to that many chickens. I have recently, and I can assure you it's miserable. So I was just hoping you can revisit that and get that worked out. I don't know, put that on the agenda or however you all do it, but and I hope you all learn to get along because it's crazy.
Councilmember Southworth has a question for you.
Hey, Mike, we do have a nuisance ordinance that supersedes so that if we can, I guess if can work, Chief, if you can have your, if you can get with Chief of Police, Doug Diamond, and have his officers look at it. I don't know if they've been out to look at that, but that nuisance ordinance should be able to help you out.
That's true. I understand how that nuisance ordinance works, but if you could legally and lawfully do that, I think that it should be changed so that it all comes in to work together, so you shouldn't have to go through that, and you should be able to do. And I fully support it. I mean, we had like 30 chickens too, and I know that was a lot for, you know, the kids to pick eggs, but I mean, a stockyard is completely different than having a couple chickens around the yard. So I do hope you guys will bring that to your agenda, and maybe you could all get along with that one. So good luck.
Anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Please come forward.
My name is Chrissy Wilkes. I live at 2800 West 7460 South in West Jordan. I've lived in West Jordan my whole life except for 1 year. And I don't get to make it to a lot of the meetings, but I do. I'm kind of a nerd in that I get online. As Melanie knows, I call her and try to get transcripts, and I read city council meeting notes. And I educate myself before I vote, and I encourage my neighbors to do the same. And this term I voted for Kim Rolfe because I believe that he is the right person for the job, and apparently over half of the city believe the same. And when we elected him, we supported him and him carrying out his vision, and we want to get behind him and see that come to pass. Saw a lot of issues over the last 8 years. I didn't like, this side of West Jordan, the side that I live in. We haven't seen a lot of progress, and we would like to see more progress in our area. And the thing that confuses me is in the meeting notes that I've read is if everybody will take time and go back to the May of 2013 meeting notes, some of you were on board with, in fact, wanted to give the mayor additional duties, and were on board with making the mayor position full-time. And, and now everyone's kind of going back on that because they don't, they're not happy with who was elected on the council. But see, over half of the city voted for Mayor Rolfe. That's who we want. And then The last thing that I wanted to bring up was just, this is just kind of a side note from what I've seen in the West Jordan Journal. It seems one-sided, and I don't know who it is that does the political, I guess I should pay more attention to the name there, but it seems like it's one-sided journalism instead of reflecting just the facts from both sides. And I'd like to see the facts from both sides and not just something that's one-sided. And that was it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will close the citizen comments and move to the consent calendar. Councilmember Haga.
Thanks, Mayor. Excuse me. Let me make sure my mic's on. Sorry, my computer went on the fritz. I'd like to pull consent item. Sorry, I had it ready. I apologize. Let me make sure I get the right one. C. I have to start at B, C, and I.
B, C, and I. Okay. Motion would be in order. Councilmember Southworth.
Move to approve the remaining items.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Southworth and a second by Councilmember Hanson. Discussion to the motion? Seeing none, let's vote.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Mayor Rolfe?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Councilmember Haga?
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey?
Aye.
Vote passes 7 in favor.
Public hearing item 8A, receive public input and consider for approval ordinance 15-24, amending the West Jordan future land use map and zoning map to remove the TSOD designation from 10.21 acres of property and amending section 1 of the ordinance 07-27 to reflect the updated legal description to the Gardner Village Station community, RR 5D zone, located at approximately 7655 South, 1300 West, West Jordan. David?
Yes, staff is here to make a brief presentation and answer any questions.
Larry?
In 2014, as Colosimo's project, the station at Gardner Mill was being considered at this location. Here there was considerable public input about concerns of this property also being developed into a multi-family type development because it is in the boundaries of the TSOD. And so the council at that time instructed that this 10.2 acres roughly, the Brinkerhoff property, be taken out of the overlay district, the transit overlay district. And so the boundary is in red, and this is what the revised overlay would look like if this is approved tonight. The Brinkerhoff property is currently a rural residential half-acre lot. The underlying zone, that will not change. Just the overlay will be removed. The remainder of the Gardner Village and the Colosimo's is PC, and then as you can see, the different zonings on the property. The Planning Commission was unanimous on a favorable recommendation to remove this property from the transit station overlay district. And staff also recommends approval of this. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at this time. So.
Questions from council? Think you're good, Larry. We'll now open the public hearing portion of item 8A. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, now would be the time on 8A. Please.
Mayor and Council, This is Alexandra Ephraimov, 3735 Judd Circle in West Jordan. I'm sorry, what is TSOD? Can somebody tell me? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just a citizen, okay? I'm 82 years old. I don't know what. So often you have these 4-letter things, 3-letter things. I have no clue what they are. You know what they are, but
Transit-oriented development.
Okay, so I still don't understand if you're going to remove that. Does that mean the 10 acres are going to leave Gardner Village, or are they going to remain, or are they going to, I mean, the last time this was brought up about the 10 acres, you wanted to increase the units per acre. And I'm against any increase in units per acre. I thought that's what we did the last time we talked about 10 acres, that they wanted to increase that, we were putting more on. So I'm not sure what's happening here. If you all can explain it, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
In this case, they're just taking the overlay off, and it's actually going to be half-acre rural residential lots, is what the underlying zoning is for that 10.21.
So we're not going to have that high density there at Gardner?
No, this is the area just adjacent to the north.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to take up your time. Thank you.
Councilmember Southwood.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to mention that it's a transit station overlay district. That's what TSOD stands for, and the previous speaker would be happy with it because it reduces the size of the transit district and the potential for more high density in the area. So you would be happy to see this passed. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing portion of item 8A. Return to the council. Councilmember Southworth.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve.
Second. I have a motion by Councilmember Southworth and a second by Councilmember Nichols. Discussion on the motion?
Mayor, it's 7A, not 8A.
Oh.
Just to clarify, it's 7A, not 8A.
On the amended agenda, it's 8A.
Oh, is it?
Because-
Oh, sorry, I've got the paper one. All right, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just following.
It was only like
Public hearing A's.
3 updates, so we understand.
Okay, let's vote.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Councilmember McConaughey?
Aye.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Mayor Rolfe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Vote passes 6 in favor.
Okay, public hearing item B. Receive public input and consider for approval ordinance 15-25 ratifying the preliminary development plan establishing a density of 6.30 units per acre, preliminary subdivision plan, and preliminary site plan, multifamily residential zone located at approximately 6111 West, 7800 South, Garbett Land Investments. David?
Yes, Mr. McCandless will be here to address this issue.
Please, Ray.
Mayor, members of the council, just to orient you with the site, this is part of the Adbrook Village, is one of the developments in the Highlands area, and it's part of the Peterson property. The Highlands extends basically from 5600 West here over to 6400 West. This property that we are talking about is just south of 7800 South. The Planning Commission just had a couple of years ago approved Inglefield Heights. There's currently some homes that are going in here. These are all single-family homes. The Adbrook Village, at least the western part of it, is kind of an extension of the Inglefield Heights development. This Highlands area is one of is the only area that's recognized in the West Side Planning Area. It's about 370 acres, and it's subject to the WSP or the West Side Planning Area requirements. In that zoning district, it's a performance-based zone, so the number of units or dwelling units are set based on the amenities that are provided, and that is determined based on a section of the ordinance, and I think we included that in the packet. We talk about the buy-up densities for that development. Let me just run through this really quickly. Again, this is the Addenbrooke Village is located here. It's Gladstone Place. This is the Mountain View corridor on that side. What I've done is just superimpose the proposed layout of the development here, South 78. Again, this is Englefield Heights, and there will be a collector street that will extend down through here. This will be developed in 5 phases. Phase 1 is 21 single-family dwellings, 14 twin homes. This is phase 1 right here. Phase 2 will be 42 townhomes. Phase 3 will be basically street improvements to try to make this connection here. Phases 4 and 5 will be located in here. The zoning is the MFR. It's multifamily residential. This is just a copy of the future land use map that's showing the location of the site, and again the phasing plan. This is just the northern section of it that's just showing what is being proposed. As I mentioned earlier, this is part of the Englefield Heights development of that extension. These are all single-family lots here. This is that new collector street that will continue down to the south. They're looking at putting in some duplexes along the street here, and then they will also be putting in some townhomes that my understanding is they'll be owner-occupied. It'll be accessed basically from this interior loop street. They'll have little driveways that will extend on both sides of that. As part of this, it has to go through the design review committee, which it did. That recommendation was forwarded to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission looked at it and also recommended approval of the overall development with the densities that are the density that's of 6.30 dwelling per units acre, which is basically within the range that's kind of set up by the general plan. The general plan for that if this area is between 3.1 and 7.6 dwelling units per acre, so we think that 6.30 units per acre just falls kind of right in the middle of that. The council's action tonight is basically to ratify the decision of the Planning Commission to approve the development plan and that preliminary development plan also includes those densities. So that's really what you're looking at tonight, is whether or not those are appropriate. As part of that, just as an example of what's being proposed, this is just a layout just showing kind of some of the landscaping. There's some active recreation areas that are scattered throughout, some playgrounds. These will be private lanes extending off the street here. There will be an 8-foot wide landscaping median that will extend beyond behind the sidewalk. So we think that will make a good boundary to this development. Again, in other places, there's another playground area, detention areas that will also serve as active recreation areas. These are just some examples of the twin homes that would be constructed. Again, the design review committee did recommend approval of this layout. Each of the units will have 2-car garages. This is what the duplexes would look like. As you can see, they're using a variety of materials. We think that it's an attractive design. And then these are some of the examples of the single-family dwellings that would be proposed. As I mentioned earlier, Englefield subdivision is just to the west of this. It's already been approved. We're already getting homes in that area. Garbett is the same developer that's developing this project. So with that, I'd just like to turn it over to any questions you might have. I know the developer is here to also address any concerns you might have.
Questions from council? Is that okay?
Thank you.
Does the developer want to address this, or please?
I'm Scott Howell with Garbett and Peterson, and it seems like every time I come, the cameras are all here. So I don't know, guys and ladies, if you could just let me know in advance next time. We'll maybe pull it. But thank you for allowing us to talk a little bit about the project. I want you all to know that we've done the evaluation of density buy-up, and we went through that. We got unanimous support. We also did the DRC review. We got a unanimous support. And the Planning Commission, again, supported us. I think what's important about the subdivision that you all should know is that we've had 11 sales already and 1 resident move in. So we believe that this will bring rooftops and the population to community, and we think it's a project that's well worth your support tonight. And we've made all the commitments. I think we've had an opportunity to meet with all of you. And it's been a long journey, but it's been one that I think is going to pay off for everyone. And we appreciate the city manager and the city attorney and all of you for your time and effort on this. I have Rich Welch with me, who's the technical advisor on it. If you should happen to have any technical questions, we'd be more than happy to answer this for you.
Questions? Think you're okay?
Great. Thank you very much. And again, we appreciate the time, and hang in there.
Thank you. We'll now open the public hearing for item B on the agenda. Please.
Alexandra Ephraim, Mayor and Council, Alexandra Ephraimo, 3735 Judd Circle. I really want to applaud the developer on this. I love, we get a lot of snow sometimes, but, I love a slant roof, because when you have a flat roof, it's very difficult for the snow and the rain to get off, and I really like the design on that. The only thing I would comment is, a couple slides before, when you were talking about the landscaping on the side, I'm just going to recommend every place you can, please put rock, not grass. We're a desert, and down here at the interchange at 215 in Redwood, they've done an awesome job there with all the different colored rocks and everything. And I just want to recommend that in that landscaping they're talking about, that wherever possible, please use rock. I just think it's, we are a desert, and we have to be conscious of that. We have to really think about water. So, but I do applaud I like the townhome design as well. So thank you, Mayor.
Thanks. Anyone else wishing to address them? I will close the public hearing portion of this item and return to council. Councilmember Nichols?
Mayor, I'm prepared for a motion if there are no comments.
Did you have a comment?
No, go ahead.
Please.
Mayor, Alexander, I want to thank you, because I want to echo everything you just said. I tend to be a water guy, and I'm like, we got to conserve water wherever we can. So whatever you can do in that front, we appreciate it. And with that, I move to approve ordinance 15-25.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilmember Nichols and a second by Councilmember Hanson. Discussion of the motion? Did you have? Let's vote.
Councilmember McConaughey?
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Councilmember Haga?
Yes.
Mayor Rolfe?
Yes.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Vote passes 7 in favor.
Item C, did we decide we needed to continue this, or?
We do.
Okay, so I need a
Yes, we
motion.
do, because of...
I need a motion to continue
So
item
moved.
C.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Southworth, second by Councilmember Nichols. Discussion of the motion. Councilmember Haga.
This has gone through a public hearing, and last council meeting, we I'm pretty sure we almost, it was like 5-3 approved a raise for the assistant city manager. I would propose to the council that we maybe bring this back as a public hearing item so we can include that increase of his salary. So just consideration, otherwise I'm not opposed.
That's, I think, what it's about. Councilmember Southwood.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just remind the councilman, we did discuss that last time, and this is a continuation of the public hearing. Public hearing will happen. We're not putting that off. It will happen. So your concern is heard and will be addressed. Thank you.
Public hearing was never
We haven't held a public hearing yet.
Yeah, we never opened it. We never held it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Let's vote.
Mayor Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Haga,
Yes.
Councilmember Rice. Aye. Councilmember Nichols.
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
Councilmember Henson.
Yes.
Councilmember Southworth.
Aye.
Vote passes 7 in favor.
Okay, business item A, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 15-171, directing city staff to implement the proposed senior housing 3200 West mid-block crosswalk improvements. Justin?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Recently, a safety issue has arisen on one of our public streets on 3200 West, right across the street from the post office there. Members of the Public Works Department have engaged the residents of the senior center right across from the post office to be able to help improve the safety in that area. Our traffic engineer, Bill Baranowski, has prepared a short presentation to help describe some of those issues and some of the possible solutions we have to fix that problem in that area. So I defer the time to our traffic engineer.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this really brief, but mainly I'm going to focus on this picture, just to give you an idea where the proposed crosswalk is. This is for the senior housing located on 3200 West across from the post office. We met with the senior housing residents in June, and we actually walked this area with them and received a lot of comments about how difficult it is to cross the street to get to the post office, to Macy's, and other places across the street. And we also recognize there's a certain amount of disabled people that live at the residence, and they have difficulty crossing anywhere because of lack of pedestrian ramps or lack of bumpy sidewalks. So we have a lot of issues about getting around. But as a result of this meeting, we came back and did a study, and we studied the traffic both north of the post office and south of the post office to find a preferred location for a crosswalk out here. We're careful where we put crosswalks in the city at mid-block locations because we don't want to create a traffic hazard. So we're very careful, and we like to keep them spaced far away from turning traffic. And we also need to make sure that there's good lighting at the crosswalk. We found that a location right at the post office had too much traffic turning in and out of the post office. So that was a location that we did not recommend. But we proposed a location just south of the post office and also still in front of the senior housing complex that would hopefully serve their desires to get across the street. So that's the location shown in red in this map. And approximately 1,300 cars a day use the post office coming in and out, so there's quite a bit of traffic circulating there. So we really want to avoid that driveway in and out. This is a look at the preferred location just south of the post office. But if you look on the left, it still will access the senior housing. And we showed this proposal to another meeting with the senior housing people, and they took it back to their people, and to get a feeling of support for this location. And from what I've heard from Carolyn Christensen, that was almost unanimous that would be an appropriate location. So what that leaves us is two choices: what kind of enhancements to put in this new crosswalk at that location. And we came up with two choices: either a rapid rectangular flashing beacon or blinker sign, which is similar to a rapid rectangular flashing beacon. One issue with this blinker sign versus the rapid rectangular flashing beacon is they haven't really been proven. There haven't been a lot of studies to support their usefulness as far as the driver being able to see that and stop for it in time. So it's kind of a newer item compared to the rapid rectangular flashing beacon. If you have any questions, I'm certainly open.
Councilmember Southworth.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm ready for a motion. I move that we approve Resolution 15-171, approving option 1 with the rapid rectangular flashing beacon.
Second. I have a motion by Councilmember Southworth, a second by Councilmember McConaughey. Discussion to the motion. Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mayor. I did have a call from, I believe it was Carolyn, that talked to me about this. I did go down to that area. I stood at the corner. That light changes very rapidly. Someone in a wheelchair, someone with a walker or a cane will never make it across that intersection before the light changes back green to go through, or if someone's making a left turn. And I'm glad to see that there's going to be a flasher beacon there, because it will make it much easier for them. If it was just a crosswalk, people are still going to go through it. But this does give them the opportunity to get to the post office, to get to Macy's in a much safer way, because it was quite a distance to the corner and then to try and cross with that short light. So I'm glad to see that this is working out. Thank you.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. I wasn't aware of the request for the crosswalk, but I was there, I want to say earlier this week, and I was amazed at watching people fly through there. I did see somebody trying to cross. Everybody seems to be focused on the stalls at the post office and trying to get one of those stalls, and they don't seem to be watching people cross the street. So I very much support this. I like the idea of the rapid rectangular flashing beacons. I would have a question, though, as to would it be appropriate or fiscally constraining to do the overhead arms as well to help amplify the visibility of that crosswalk? Or is that something that's reserved for something that's wider than the 2 lanes, but the middle lane, so wider than 3 lanes?
I love that you answered your own question. We do reserve those overhead arms more for the multi-lane roads. And this road does have a center turn lane, and so there is a refuge area in the middle, but it's just 1 lane. You're crossing 1 lane at a time. And at the location we selected, there's very little turning traffic. So I believe that those side-mounted flashers would be appropriate like this.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Southworth.
Thank you, Mayor. Last time we talked about this, I believe it was one that Councilman McConaughey had brought up, advocating for the neighborhood was in dire need.
70 South, 1895.
Yes. It wasn't the highest traffic area in the city, but it was pretty close. It really was needed. But at the time we talked about, you talked about a center of refuge, creating an island within a center out of concrete. And at the time, that didn't work in that location because you had a high traffic street that turned in and out there. Does that make sense in this situation here?
You know, with the driveway so close to that crosswalk, I think it would be a hazard to have that raised island in the middle.
I asked because at the time, just after we discussed this, I don't know if it was before or after, I drove through Taylorsville and 2700 West. If anybody gets a chance, go look at those. They've done a couple there, and that it looks very nice, and they incorporated some street lighting into it. But it also adds that extra piece of safety. And when I look at the use and who's going to be using this, you know, if we could make something like that work, that might be worth it. To have that refuge of protection. You could say you've got this center lane as a refuge, but, you know, that doesn't protect you like a concrete barrier. Anyhow, I'm not advocating at this point. I don't know enough about it, whether that is the right fit here. But I think they work well, they look nice, and could be adding additional safety and help. So I just throw that out as an option.
Yeah, I would say we consider that. I don't think it's a terrible thing, but we'll see if it'll fit within the turning radius of those driveways. And if it's possible, we can add it to the project.
And I will amend the motion to include that option.
Okay.
And thank you.
I'm hesitant to keep my second there based on the proximity to the post office, but
This is the option, though, of looking at it.
yeah, I'll stay with the second. I prefer to see this move forward, and if we need to make changes later, we can, but I prefer to move forward, so I'll keep the second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Southworth.
Aye.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson.
Yes.
Councilmember Rice.
Aye.
Councilmember Haga.
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols.
Yes.
Mayor Rob.
Yes.
The vote passes 7 in favor.
I move to take a 5-minute recess.
Second?
And a motion by Mayor Rolfe and a second by Councilmember Southworth. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, 5 minutes only, please. We've got a lot to do.
I think they were. Oh, you weren't one. I think they came through. She took 5 minutes. She said that it just ran down the whole thing through.
Was that her?
Hey.
Yes, they are. Campaign there, so I've got to do myself.
I'll send you.
Yeah, you better, maybe you better take me back to the little shit. I don't know. How are you?
Yes.
Maybe you ought to take us all behind the little shit. Come on, just sit in chairs.
How you feeling there?
Let's keep talking. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Melissa.
Business item B, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 15-170, authorizing staff to use the existing C Road funds to hire a 5-person concrete crew with associated equipment and vehicles to perform concrete-related work within the city. Justin?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Just a little bit of background about this item. The city used to have a concrete crew that worked in the streets department, and when the recession hit, a lot of the concrete priorities were removed, a lot of those projects were set aside, and many of those positions were eliminated. As the economy has improved, and then along with additional regulations for replacing pedestrian ramps, the city has begun contracting out the concrete work to be able to do the pedestrian ramps, concrete columns around manholes, raising and lowering of manholes, and also new sidewalks and replacing sidewalks. We found that over the past couple of years we've crossed that threshold where it's no longer cheaper to contract out the work. In the last fiscal year, 14-15, the city through contracts had $561,000 of money out of the C Road funds that was used in contracts for concrete-related work. This past fiscal year, there was a green sheet item that was presented to council. It wasn't approved, relating to the concrete crew. And within the last couple of months since that green sheet process, we went back and we looked at everything, did an economic analysis of the situation, and we found that we had crossed that threshold where we were paying more in contracts than we would be able to do it in-house. We looked at all of the different hazards, the spalling of concrete panels, trip hazards, curb ramps that need to be replaced, and found that we had more than enough work to be able to keep a crew busy. We looked at the costs of being able to move a crew internally, similar to what we had in 2008, and found that we would be able to do that at a cost of about $390,000, significantly less than the $561,000 that we were using in contract labors. Plus, that has a number of benefits, such as having crews available for snow plowing in the wintertime. It frees up the asphalt crews who are currently taking a break between asphalt jobs to be able to do a lot of the concrete work orders, the trip hazards, the broken panels, that kind of stuff. It would allow the asphalt crews to get back to full-time asphalt work, and rather than delaying them or postponing asphalt projects. And so what we bring before you is more of an efficiency item, where we figure that we can use the same $561,000 or even less of existing C Road funds to be able to do that work in-house using city staff to be able to reduce costs, add flexibility to the city's response to trip hazards and other stuff to be able to better respond to our residents. So we're just asking to be able to use those funds to be able to do the work in-house for our concrete projects. Are there any questions?
Questions from council? Councilmember Hagan.
Really, to Ryan, sorry, I'm going to catch again. Sorry. So he's asking us to spend money. How much?
What he's asking to do is basically take the money that we use to contract the concrete crews from using outside contractors and turn that into a full-time concrete crew. Their analysis has shown that there would be no additional money spent to do this at this time.
Justin, so as far as hiring somebody though, I mean, we haven't allocated an FTE in our budget for these people, these folks that we would hire yet.
Right. The new positions would come out of the C Road accounts, which comes out of the allocation the city receives out of the B and C Road funds, not out of the general fund. And what we would do is we would just take that money to spend it on a concrete crew. We're at the level that we're doing concrete, we're paying crews plus the profit that they earn. It's actually cheaper. We would save approximately about $160,000 by doing the work in-house. Plus, we would have the flexibility to be able to do snow plowing during the wintertime. We would have a faster response to some of the concrete issues that are facing citizens.
Other questions? Councilmember Southwood.
Thank you. I do have a question. It talks about the diverting $750,000, excuse me, from the telecom tax.
Oh, yes.
Now, as I recall, that telecom tax was used. There were various portions that were used, and I suppose some of it could have been used for the concrete, but I thought that was for road maintenance. And here it's pretty clear, makes the case that was used for the concrete work, but I don't know that necessarily was the case. Could you help me understand that?
Yeah, Councilmember, you're exactly right. Back in 2008, before the recession started to hit, the $750,000, a portion of the telecom tax, the $750,000, was used for road maintenance. And that road maintenance took care of a variety of different items, from asphalt patching to slurry seals to concrete work, just a wide gamut of stuff. That $750,000 was diverted to other general fund priorities in 2008 in an effort for the City Council to save money. It's money that has stayed outside of road maintenance. It has not returned to road maintenance. But we're not proposing to use that. It was just mentioned in the staff report that once upon a time was used for road maintenance.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes my next comment a little bit new, but I'm going to make it anyway. At the time, when this telecom tax was put in, I was a strong proponent of that, and made a commitment that that money would be used for road maintenance only. Actually even put in the sunset clause. I brought that and put that in so that we could discuss that again. Eventually that money was diverted for other needs within the city and taken away from roads. That was not my desire, and I obviously lost out on that because the money was taken elsewhere to spend. If there's ever an opportunity in this city to put that money back towards maintaining our roads and keeping them in top notch, I think we do a fine job now. I wouldn't want to add more money than we can spend and take care of, but if there's any deficiencies, that money there, every dollar we spend saves us $10 down the road. That is money that's so well spent. So any opportunity we can to get money back into that program is useful. It doesn't sound like this is that opportunity because of where this money is coming from, but anyway, thank you.
Are there any other questions for me?
I think you're good.
Okay, thank you.
Council? Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm struggling with this one. By principle, I have a real hard time allocating additional headcount to a problem that we could easily contract out for. But at the same time, if we can save $150,000+ a year by bringing it in-house, it seems like a good approach. However, I do guess I question in your analysis, did you consider the ongoing impact of insurance, workers' comp, health care, retirement, all of the other obligations that we would have in perpetuity for these additional headcount?
Yes, sir, we did. When we looked at the ongoing expenses, we found that they actually matched pretty closely to the increased costs that we would see if we were to continue to contract out the work. For example, if we were to contract it out 2 years from now,
we would expect to see a 5 or 10% increase to the contracted labor as well to accommodate health insurance, wage increases, that kind of stuff. So we found it was very much on par with the increased cost to the contracts versus the increased cost in the house.
And when was the last time that our current contracts were bid out, and are we confident that we have competitive pricing so that we're making a fair comparison and it's not like the rates have creeped up over us over the last few years where we're being gouged right now and somebody else could jump in about the same?
They're typically bid out every year in the spring.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
They're bid out every year in the spring, each year. And we typically bid out several different items. We bid out the ADA ramp replacement, the pedestrian ramp replacement. We bid out safe sidewalks, and we bid out manhole raising and lowerings. And so there's a variety of different items that we bid out in several different packages. So we're pretty confident that we were getting the most efficient price using contracts. But it did take away some of the flexibility whenever we received work orders for raised or heaved sidewalks. We didn't have a contract to be able to address any of that. And so we would have to pull workers off of the asphalt crews or delay the asphalt workers to be able to address some of those issues. And it was causing inefficiencies across several different groups within the city just to be able to address some of those items that we didn't have contracts for.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hagan.
Thanks, Mayor. My concern with this is, first of all, I believe in business over government as far as growing government is not something I prefer. I'd rather invest out there. I don't think we're ready for more employees, really, right now. I think if we had decided, I think it was in the spring, to build our public works building, we were going to bond for that, if you recall. I would think that we were prepared. But what I understand from that discussion, a lot of our crews were stumbling over themselves anyway. Is that still the case?
I'm sorry, are you talking about housing, office space?
So we have our public works building, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And that's where we house the people and where all the equipment is, right? If we hire more individuals, how are we going to house them? I mean, if we're stumbling over ourselves right now over there.
Well, typically the work crews, such as the asphalt crews that we currently have, don't have office space. It would be the same situation with the concrete crews. They wouldn't have a workspace within any particular buildings. They would receive their assignments early in the mornings and then use the vehicles that are parked in the lot. There wouldn't be a need to refurbish any facilities or create any new office space for some of these work crews. The existing crews don't use that kind of space.
Okay. One other comment then. Again, I think I'm going to echo what Councilman McConaughey said is, if we have a salary that we're paying of $100 and we hire somebody, we're going to pay probably another 20 to 40% in benefits, not accounting, rebate for health care. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, we pay $2,700 a year just for a rebate for health care. So there's some issues hiring somebody of a high cost as far as what they call benefits, bennies, whatever. I would like to really see a breakdown when we give benefits, and I'm talking across the board with health care, rebates, all that compared to contract worker. We found with our attorney, we've hired actually 3 attorneys for almost the price of 2. And so contract work has a lot to be said, and I'm still think that there's people out there skilled to do it, but I'd be opposed to growing government more by hiring more people. So I would recommend that we go contract. Thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Southworth.
Thank you. I'm ready for a motion, but I have a quick comment that just brought up something here that I wanted to But looks like if we were to contract this out, it's in the neighborhood of over $500,000, roughly $540,000 to contract this out with a 5-man crew. If we were to, you're estimating that if we hired our own internal employees, 387,000 roughly?
Yes, sir.
Are those numbers correct?
The 387 includes roughly 284,000 in salaries and benefits, and roughly 104,000 in supplies, tools, and equipment, not including vehicles.
So you're roughly half the cost when it comes just to salaries, but you need to add $100,000 in benefit. Now, part of the justification here talks about the possibility of a tax, would be a tax increase, depending on what the voters say in the next election. If that does not happen, and we do not realize those additional funds, as I hope, what do we have the funding to continue to do this? I would guess so, because we're going to contract this out, but would the funding still be there? Are we basing this on some future event that has not happened?
No, sir, we're not. What we're doing is we're basing this upon money that we're already spending on contracts. So rather than spending it on contracts this coming fiscal year, we would instead save that money to do the work in-house at a discounted cost. Now, there are 2 additional funding mechanisms that are coming down the pipe. There's the rework in the gas tax, which we estimate will create about $600,000 in new revenue, and that's already coming. And then there's the potential for additional revenue through the local option tax that's proposed to be on the ballot in November. Both of those items, whether it's the rework of the gas tax or it's the local option tax on the ballot, are just additional funds above and beyond the money that we're already spending on contracts that we feel that we can do more efficiently.
Okay, thank you. Based on that, and based on the fact, I like the idea of outsourcing. I like how the city could be nimble. We can cut our budgets if we need, but there's a significant savings that we're seeing. In addition to that, come November, the one thing we're going to be talking about is the same thing we always talk about every November, sometimes December, depending on the year, is why don't we have enough snowplows and enough people to drive them? These additional folks, the equipment we are buying will be outfitting these vehicles with snowplows, having them on staff so that we can address this reoccurring problem. I like the money savings. I like fixing our snowplow problem. And with that, I would move that we adopt ordinance or resolution 15-170.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Southworth and a second by Councilmember Rice. Discussion of the motion. Councilmember Hagan.
Yeah, so I'm going to oppose, excuse me, Mayor. Thanks, Mayor. I'm going to oppose this motion. I'm going to have to take exception to the fact that our snowplows haven't been exceptional last year. We're Public Works. They have done a fantastic job. I have never received any complaints. In fact, that's where we started to kind of, I guess, hopscotch our crews. I have had residents during the snows. We didn't have a lot of them, of course, but I've had them say, good. So I'm not saying that cannot happen, but I think some of the staff's work with using other crews and other trucks in different department has been very beneficial for our snow crew. But I'm opposed to this because I believe that it's money better spent of the taxpayer, and that's whose money we are spending here. And even though we have a hypothetical as far as HB 362, that's still not money in the bank yet. Hasn't even been on the ballot yet. We still need to calculate the fuel tax and how that's going to be distributed to the city. That still has not been done. That's part of my knowledge, and we can talk that another time. So I don't think we're ready, and some of these numbers are probably slanted because of that. You mentioned H Bill 362, which is the local option proposed tax for C roads, and then what the legislature passed for C roads still has not been distributed. So I would wait. If we need our sidewalks, I was trying to get something printed so I could give you a number, but we have $90 million in the bank, waiting to get projects done, and one of them is sidewalks. And budgeted for that, and I think we ought to just get going and hire somebody and get them fixed. Thanks, Mayor.
I just had one comment. I'm in support of the motion. Typically, I'm not in growing employees in government, but with the staff that we have that is doing the overlay projects, there is none finer, and I feel like I'm an expert. They have done an excellent job. I believe that this will give us a crew that can take care of the vastly needed dangerous sidewalks in the city immediately. And so for that reason, I am supportive of this motion. I would like to state that since strategic plan in 2014, we have cleaned all streets that accumulated more than an inch in our city. This council made that decision, and we have done that, and we will continue to do that. Thanks. Let's vote.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Mayor Rolfe?
Yes.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Councilmember McConaughey?
Cautiously, aye.
Councilmember Haga?
No.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Vote passes 6-1.
Business item C, report and update on the City of West Jordan fiscal year 2014-2015 fourth quarter report. Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You have the quarterly report in front of you. I just do want to remind you that these are not final numbers. We still have plenty of massaging and things to do with them as we work through our audit and finalize them. One of the challenges we run into every year, even though our fiscal year ends on June 30th, to get our contractors and everybody to get their invoices to us by that time is impossible. So we have what we call period 13, where it takes us 6 or 7 weeks to collect all those invoices and get those paid. This was done at the 5-week mark. I've tried to keep track of what has gone into the general fund expenditures since then. And it's approximately $170,000. So we've seen at least that swing. We do also still have 1 month worth of revenue coming from sales tax. I believe, let me see, telecom tax and the fee in lieu of vehicles. We still have that. I have tried to estimate as best as I can what we think that's going to be, and I, like I said, took my best guess at that. So those numbers are off. In total, we are, of course, looking to stay under that 25%, and we should do that. One of the things that I will let council know, at this time last year, our fund balance was at about 26%, between 26 and 27%. By the time we were done doing the adjustments, we got to 23.8%. So at this point, I see that number lowering as we move along from its current 24.3% by the time, and maybe roughly around the 22% mark. Are there any questions after that explanation, or any questions in regards to the quarterly report?
Councilmember Haga.
Thanks, Mayor. Ryan, I appreciate you sending us reports as usual. Thank you. I like numbers, so what is the status of our sales tax revenues right now? Have we collected everything?
We haven't. We're still 1 month. We're still waiting for 1 month.
What are you projecting that will be?
Usually that last month's pretty good. It's going to be probably about $1.5 million, and that's what our projection shows.
Sorry, I have my city computer isn't working, so thank you. On the utilities, what is your projection on the water revenues we have right now?
The water fund right now, it looks like we're going to project to be about $10 million both restricted and unrestricted cash, which would be $5 million below where we were at this point last year. So we would have dipped into that fund balance by over $5 million.
Mayor, if I can, just because there's some paper questions I had here, if I can just defer some more time.
You have the floor.
Well, I'll go ahead and defer to other council members if any questions come back to this.
Doesn't appear like there's any lights on.
Okay. Thanks, then I'll continue. Sorry, it's I'm a little slow. Now, last week we passed, I should say the council body, I voted against it, but increase on businesses. It was 4-3, I think.
Yes, correct.
On the ERUs in stormwater fund.
Yes.
What are your projections on that increase as far as on our businesses and into that fund?
Our projection, I believe, was with what was chosen by the council would be about a $1 million increase to our revenue.
Thanks, Mayor.
I only have one question on the second sheet. The
Yes.
general fund summary.
Yes.
Specifically the beginning fund balance, the restricted fund balance, and the storm liability.
Yes.
It looks like we start out at 19 million.
Yes.
Change.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're minusing out the restricted fund. I don't understand the...
Yeah, the 19 million is the full fund balance. When we talk about that 25%, we're just looking at unrestricted fund balance. We are allowed with the restricted money, which is mostly the C roads money that we've been talking about, to carry a little more on that end. That's not part of that 25% thing. So when we look at the total fund balance for the general fund, it was just a little over 19 million last year. So to actually get the unrestricted fund balance to calculate the 25%, we would need to take out restricted fund balance, plus we need to take out the 2 million for the stormwater debt that we forgave.
And could you explain the 2 million removed? Now, I remember the council gave direction to take out the 2 million and forgive the debt, but I don't understand why it's reflected here.
Yes. What we had to do was when the initial loan happened, the stormwater fund received revenue and then they were able to cash in then revenue on the accounting side. However, the general fund had an outflow of cash, but they created a liability. So it didn't go against anything that was fund balance at that point. When we forgave the debt, what we would now be doing is turning that, doing a transaction to turn that liability into what it would have been before, which was an expense, which would affect fund balance now. So the original loan did not affect fund balance. The forgiveness does affect fund balance.
But the money stays in the city.
Yeah, the money's still there.
It stays in the city.
Yeah, it's just, the crazy accounting stuff they make us do.
Okay, one last question. Do you know how much the state treasurer has in it currently?
Currently, the last report I got was about $65 million.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I do one follow-up question? Please.
Thanks, Ryan. I just wanted to kind of cover some of the things that are going to happen. I chatted with you a few days ago. So we've had our audit finished for the 2014-2015 budget.
The audit
for the CAFR, I'm sorry.
No, we do not have the 2015.
What's your projection on that?
They are scheduled to come the first week of October and then the last 2 weeks of October, and then they will. The partner will be here the first week of November, and that's when the CAFR preparation will be done. We are hoping, our goal right now is to get the CAFR to you guys before Thanksgiving and to be able to talk about this in the first meeting of December.
That you answered another question. So Then one last question, because, even though this is on my computer, how's our ERP going? I was on the city side, and I was looking at a PDF on how to run the system, and yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, we, right now, currently, the ERP, we have the financial side of things up and running, and we also have the payroll side of things up and running. We still have 2 more modules as far as finance goes, which one is the utility billing module, and the other one is the business licensing module. These 2 modules we are anticipating will be up before the end of the year, for the 2015 year, which will give us a lot better description as we go through. We are working with the company right now. As you know, some companies, salesmen like to tell you, oh, we can do that, but when the implementers come, they always tell you they can't do that. So we are trying to find ways in which to build a dashboard for council so that they are able to look at things very quickly, and we could, make it so you can look at real-time data instead of having to do quarterly reports all the time. We are working through that, and we'll be able to work more on that, of course, as we go along in the next 6 to 8 months.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Ryan, I would like to, I think the council will echo what you're doing now compared to what it was a couple of years ago. You need to be commended, and I know I've been a real pain for you, but this is wonderful what you're doing now. You're getting it in on time. I really appreciate it. I believe all the council will thank you for getting the data.
And I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I said, any changes you need to the quarterly report, please let me know, and we're willing to make those changes as well.
I wouldn't make any changes. I think you're doing just good. I have a few questions once in a while, but I think you're doing perfect.
No problem.
Thank you.
Other questions for me?
Looks like you're done.
Good. Thank you.
Business item D, discussion and possible action regarding the City of West Jordan position regarding the transportation tax proposal on the 2015 general election, House Bill 362.
Thank you, Mayor, for that introduction. This has already been brought up tonight about 362, and we realize that you as council members have a wide variety of opinions on this, and so I want to be very, very clear that as a staff member, I am not supporting it one way or another. I realize that this is an issue that the legislature said, okay, here's how we're going to put it out there. The county can decide to put it on the ballot. They asked the cities if they would support that being put on the ballot. I realize that you approved a resolution that was forwarded to Salt Lake County. There is now, in part of this process, an opportunity to decide how to inform the public what that money, if the public votes for it, it's not a council decision, if the public were to vote for it and approve it, how that money would be spent in West Jordan. And so I just want to make sure that the staff is following your direction on how you want that communicated. We've put information in here that the Utah League of Cities and Towns has provided. It's very, very clear that we cannot promote the election. We can only provide information. So with that short introduction, I'm wanting direction from you as a council as to how you would like the staff to follow within the course of the law, what degree of information you want us to share.
Councilmember Hagan.
I want to make a public statement on this. I think this is a voter decision. Sorry, I don't know if this might hurt sometime. It's a voter decision. I was voted in. I'm a representative. I'm a voter. But I'm going to stay neutral as a council at large of 110,000 people. I want the residents that I represent to know that I will value their decision if this is on the ballot and if it passes. And then I reserve the right as an individual to vote myself. But I would ask the staff, if it were my recommendation, I'm going to stay neutral, that our city stay neutral, and let the residents decide, because the county is responsible. This is a legislative decision that was sent to the county. We actually voted for a real thin resolution, not a support resolution. So just another, again, just to reaffirm, I want to remain neutral on this local tax option, and I will vote my conscience like every other resident. And I would hope that all the other residents study it. There are benefits and there's negatives. It is a tax increase. So thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor. I will not be neutral. I was an advocate for it in that I wanted the voters to be able to decide. And now that they will likely have that opportunity, I would like us to give a loud shout from this dais to say it's the wrong thing to do. And the reason being is I want the legislature to do it right. And that's what the challenge I'd like to be. But I'm excited that the voters have the opportunity. But I would be one to say I'd love to see a resolution come forward that would show not a resolution of support for that tax to be passed. I mean, obviously the voters to decide, but that's just a resolution that I would give vocally, very loud.
Councilmember Southwood.
Thank you. I will vote against this, and ask the city council to do the same. I would hope. I don't know if that is the case. It sounds like we have a little dissension, so maybe we cannot. I was very vocal when we talked about putting this even on the ballot. I didn't think this was right. I don't think the solution fits the needs. We know we have some desperate needs here in the city. The county probably has some needs, and UTA probably thinks they have some needs as well. I still strongly believe that those three entities need to go by themselves and make that case to the people and say, this is what we need the money for. Here's how we'll use it. Please support us. And not bundle these all together. I've heard from a number of state legislators that say if this doesn't pass, that they're willing to look at this. And so just to accept that this, and to say that maybe this is the best deal we're going to get, that's not truly the case. But it's going to take an effort to say no. Let's think about this again and do it in a different way. Let the cities advocate what the cities need. Let the county advocate what the county needs. Let UTA advocate what UTA needs. And make those cases individually, not bundle them all together. I will not vote for this. I will not support it. And I hope this council will not support it. There's a difference between putting it on the ballot. We did that. Now it's time to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. Let's do this right. Thank you.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. I share similar concerns. I'm glad it's on the ballot. I personally have issues with some of the proposal, parts of some pieces of the proposal. I do want to be very careful in anything that we articulate as an official position of the city, however, because I don't want it to be interpreted by the legislature that we are trying to undermine some of the work that they've done. Many of them have expended tremendous amounts of political capital pushing to even get the dialogue to begin to talk about solutions for street funding. And I don't want to do anything too hastily that would undermine the effort that's already been expended. That said, I don't think that we're there yet. I don't think this is the right approach. I echo the comments that were made earlier. More than anything about UTA pushing for funding themselves. I feel like we're almost, I don't want to use that phrase. I don't think it's appropriate to tie the city's funding to UTA funding. I have serious issue with that. But that said, I want to be very careful that we don't undermine the work that's already been done. At this point, I almost would suggest that we do nothing for the time being. Unless there's a very, very careful way that we can word something otherwise. But I think the safest route is probably not provide anything either way at this point. Thank you, Mayor.
My opinion is we should stay completely neutral and let the citizens decide. As a city, as a position for the city, they have the right to choose based on what they believe, so that would be my I don't like some of the parts of it as well. I do know that it would help us immensely locally, one part of it for sure, but I don't like parts of it as well, so I think my position is neutral on it. Let the citizens decide. Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. So here's a little similar thought from a little different angle. Instead of our official position as the city being that we remain neutral, how about our official position as the city is that we have not taken a position?
That would be my opinion. Councilmember Hagan.
This is a voter decision, it's not a representative decision, so I don't think the council, and I'll recuse myself if that's the case, but I don't think the council should be taking a position as a body on any voter issue. Now, if we were the body that was proposing the tax, it's a different situation. This tax is being proposed by Salt Lake County, and our representatives will put it on the ballot. They'll be responsible. I don't think we need to be responsible. We represent West Jordan residents, not the county. So if we make a decision that way, I'll recuse myself as neutral.
So he needs direction.
Yeah, I just need a little bit of clarification because the position of neutral even has a connotation. So here's what I would like to just explore for just a moment longer. Within the packet, I had a number that was number 265. That's not how far back it is in the packet, thank goodness. But it says, here's what a public entity can do. Can neutrally encourage voters to vote regardless of whether the city or town provides a brief statement of factual information. So when we're talking neutrality, help me understand, would that be no statement whatsoever, not put anything on our webpage, nothing in, say, our city pages that we have? We just won't comment on it one way or another. Is that what I'm understanding by the nod of the heads? That's what I understand. And along with that, our staff has prepared documents that I believe are on the state website or the website that goes with questioning how the money would be used. If they want to find it there, they can, but you don't want us to use any of our websites or things like that to show what those projects again are. So that is what you mean by neutral, is we just won't say anything. Okay, you've answered my question. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Business item G, discussion and possible action regarding closed session recordings. This is my item. I have a recording of the April 17th, 2015. I would like, and I understand the only way that this can be released to the public is either through a vote of those that were in attendance at the meeting or a judge order it. I would like it released. And I want to see what the council felt like about that. I've been challenged several times because of this recording, and I'd like just the truth to come out. Councilman McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have an opinion from legal?
I asked the opinion, and the only way that it can be released is by the members that were in attendance at that meeting or by a judge. That's what I received from them.
I mean, do we have an opinion from them, the possible ramifications of taking this action?
You'd have to ask them. I didn't ask that question. I asked how it could be released so that I could be exonerated. Councilmember Haga.
I was there. It's nothing to hide. You know, it's a recording. It's 6 members of the council. 1 was absent. And there are some things that are probably sensitive back then, but it's history now. But I believe that the truth kind of will prevail. And I'm a proponent of transparency. And I would like to see us having less closed door, more public meetings. Let the residents know what we are doing as your representative. And really, I've listened to this twice, actually, and I'm not even on there very flattering. Of course, I'm not up for election, but it might affect somebody. I don't know. But I think transparency, and just for the fact that our mayor was, even on this meeting, our mayor was directed to do something, one thing, and it was interpreted by our staff to be an aggressive behavior from my perspective. And I'm just one person, but it was in the news, and he endured it because he was protecting what was on this tape. Now it's over with. The person that involved is no longer with the city, and I would be a proponent to release it. It'll show the public that we unanimously, as a council, I can say that. I can't tell you what's on the tape, but I can tell you we unanimously directed the mayor to do what he did. And that tape, or that recording, will exonerate what happened. Thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Southwood.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't believe your comment was directed at me because I was not in that meeting. I was out of town, unable to attend. But I just wanted to express, I think it should be released, but I expressed a little bit of caution. Without a legal opinion, we know that it is part of an ongoing investigation with the DA, possibly the Attorney General. It has been, just as early as this evening, requested by legal counsel for another reason, and could affect an ongoing settlement negotiation as well. So for those reasons, I would express maybe a little bit of hesitation immediately. It might be better to get a legal opinion from our team first before releasing it, but I don't think it's a big deal to... I don't know if it's a big deal. I haven't heard it said. Anyway, just by 2 cents, so we may want to exhibit a little bit of caution for those reasons.
Well, it's got to be released to the district attorney on Friday, so that's Salt Lake County District Attorney. So I'm going to turn this over to Melanie for safekeeping, and there's a copy that needs to be made. You'll get direction later. So is everybody not opposed to releasing it? We just need some direction from our legal... Councilmember Rice.
I would like to be able to hear it before releasing it. I honestly don't have confidence that, I'm not saying it has been altered, but I don't have confidence that it has not been altered. So I would like to hear it before releasing it. I'm fine with it going to the DA. I'm fine with it going to law enforcement. But releasing it to the public, I would like to review it first.
Okay, please. Yes, Councilmember McConaughey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm of a similar opinion. I think it would be appropriate to release this to the public at a certain point in time, but I don't think that point in time is right now, where this is still been requested for review for ongoing investigations. Until that is concluded, I don't think it's appropriate to make it public. However, after that is concluded, I would have no objection to releasing it to the public.
Councilmember Nicholas.
Thank you, Mayor. My thought is along the lines of those, primarily starting with Councilman Southwood's comment in that I would recommend we first seek legal advice as to the ramifications, specifically because I know of at least 2 investigations that are ongoing right now that could be related to that tape. I don't think that would be the best interest of the residents of West Jordan to have any kind of fiduciary responsibility for us having done that. I think it would be responsible, at least for a legal review to make sure that we're covered. And then secondarily, then talking about, I'm not opposed. I think eventually, yes, absolutely. I've got no problems with having it released. Just the timing's not right. I'd suggest we wait at least until, I don't know, at this point I would say it's going to be a month or 2, maybe 3, depending on how these come out. Thank you.
Yes.
And if I can ask for clarification, obviously seeking legal review would require these attorneys to listen to this, and so in addition to what I've heard, releasing it to the district attorney's office, you're granting me permission to have the attorneys that we feel are the correct ones to listen to it and give you legal advice. You're okay with them listening to that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine. Councilmember Henson is ahead of you.
I concur with both Councilman Nichols and Councilman McConaughey. I do believe there's no harm in releasing it, but we are under investigation, a couple of investigations, and I do believe that maybe this isn't the right time. I have no trouble releasing it. I was present at the meeting. I know what was said there, and so I have no trouble with it. I just feel like due to the fact that we do have these investigations going, we need some legal advice on it. Thank you.
Councilmember Hagan.
Just an addition, I after Councilman McConaughey and Councilman Nichols said, there are some things probably we ought to have attorneys look at. In fact, I was interviewed today by an attorney that's looking into one issue that's on that case, and so we would need to get permission to that attorney. I don't know who he was, but I just, it has to do with one of the investigations the council ordered. But perhaps maybe the council consider listening to it individually. It takes 2 hours. That's how long we're in that meeting. But there is a section that doesn't really hurt anything other than tell the residents that our mayor, our elected mayor, was directed by a majority of the council. And I'd like that to be heard sooner than later, maybe protect some of the other sensitive issues that the attorneys say are relevant to protect.
I can wait a month. I have another copy too, by the way, so you can keep that one. I can wait a month. Thank you. Back to consent items. 7B, approve ordinance 15-22, amending the 2009 West Jordan Municipal Code Title 4 Business License Regulations and Title 6 Police and Public Safety regarding business license fees and renewal. Councilmember Hague, you pulled this.
Well, I'd like to ask, are we raising fees?
No.
Okay.
We won't be raising any fees with this.
I move to approve this item 6B.
Second. I have a motion, Councilmember Hager, and a second by Mayor Rolfe. Discussion? Ms. Rolfe.
Councilmember Rice. Aye. Councilmember Southworth.
Aye.
Mayor Rolfe.
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols.
Yes.
Councilmember Hanson.
Yes.
Councilmember Haga.
Yes.
Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
The vote passes 7 in favor.
Consent item 7C, approve resolution 15-164, confirming the appointment of Councilmember Sophie Rice to serve on the Salt Lake County Association of Municipal Councils. Councilmember Hagan.
So this goes to what we were discussing tonight, and I don't want Councilman Rice to think this as anything relative to her other than this is one of those things that the council has been butting heads about. If you go back to our history just a month ago, we had a councilman that resigned to take a position, and we had a bunch of seats available, and the mayor appointed me and others, I'm assuming, to fill those vacancies. And there was a reaction from the some council members, again, the group that's familiar with the opposition, that was some way wrong, that the mayor couldn't appoint an elected official to a major state organization. And I'm a proponent of this. I don't have any problem with her, with Councilman, Councilman Sophie Rice. Member. Wait, new time to Sophie Rice to serve. I just think this is one thing that we need to heal on. You know, we talked about coming together, and do we come together and allow all of us to participate in our community, and instead of, you know, excluding members of the council. And this is one action that I believe is an action of excluding myself which was the alternate of this committee, which is simply just a council of governments, where you go and learn about what the county's planning on roads. And I'm not bitter, because trust me, I have plenty of things to do, but I think we need to analyze how we appoint, who we appoint. Do the people we appoint have experience? I mean, this council member, and I'm not going to question whether she has experience, but have you been in a council before? Have you served on the board? Are you familiar with Open Meeting Act? Things like that are very, very important when you serve on these type of positions, because civility.
Point of order. If you're going to say that you're not going to say that about somebody, but then you say it, Councilman. The only disagreement we had on who would fill the Association of Municipal Councils was who drew the short straw and had to do it. Nobody wanted to do this. So I'm a little perplexed. I'm sorry. You had the floor is yours. I apologize.
Mayor.
You have the floor.
Thank you. So all I'm saying to you is that we reconsider, and of course we have January coming up. There'll be a new council, whether some are elected or re-elected. We can reanalyze this, but I think this is part of maybe that rock you were talking about, Councilwoman. That might be important for us to come together and talk about how we can compromise on positions and community involvement. I already sit on 4 or 5 other committees, so it's not about being busy. I'm very busy. But again, some of the actions of other council members, this is a nomination from Council Member Hanson from last council meeting. And I'm just going to express my vote. Thank you, Councilman Southworth.
Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I did make this motion at our last meeting. When I came onto the council, I had no experience, as you're talking about, and I was appointed to this council. And I have served on this council for 3 3/4 years. I was then appointed to the COG, and so being that they're both, one is a larger group and a voting group, this is not a voting group. This is a group that meets once a month at Murray City Hall for an hour with different council people from the valley. And it's a very informative group, and you learn a lot there. And you don't have to have the council experience or the board experience. I certainly didn't, and I have enjoyed it. I have missed 2 meetings. I asked one person to cover for me, which they didn't do, and then I did ask Councilman Rice if she would, and she did. And so that's why I did motion for her to have the position. If there's some other people that would like to be elected, that's open. But that was my motion at the time. Also, a reason for that motion was that many of the people here on the council have full-time jobs. This happens in the middle of the day. It's hard for some people to get to Murray out of City Hall between 12 and 1. So I thought it would be a little easier for Councilwoman Rice, and that was the reason for the motion. Thank you.
I move to approve consent item C.
Second.
I have a motion by Mayor Rawl and a second by Councilmember Southworth. Discussion? Seeing none, let's vote.
Councilmember Haga?
No.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Councilmember Conaghy?
Aye.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Mayor Ross?
Yes.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Vote passes 6 to 1 in favor.
Consent item I. Approve ordinance 15-23, amending the 2009 West Jordan Municipal Code, Title I, Administration, Title 8, Public Works, Public Ways, and Property regarding Parks Department.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any questions on this item?
No, I'd like to know what it's about.
Okay. For a period of time, there have been some changes in departments. The Administrative Services Department was created. We've moved some things around. The Parks Department was created, and we had just never gone into the code and memorialized those changes and what those needed to be. And so we gave the assignment to our legal staff, and they have taken those items and put them into the correct places in the code so that they are reflective of what we have now for our departments. Any further questions?
I would like to ask the council we bring this back for further consideration because it's changing our code, and I have many questions, and I don't think it's at a time. I think we're over actually our time. We'd have to make a motion to continue. But I'll go on if you want, Mayor. Should I go through the questions, or can we bring it back? We're past 9 p.m.
That'd be a question for the council. Councilmember Southworth?
I move to approve ordinance 15-23.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Southworth and a second by Councilmember McConaughey. Discussion of the motion. Councilmember Haga.
All right, thanks, Mayor. So we're changing, and I guess, Robert, you'll be able to answer some of these changes since you authored it. Section 1A-4, why are we deleting that section?
I have that open, Bob, if you'd like me. We no longer have what's defined as a director of finance. We have a finance manager, and the finance department is under the Administrative Services Department, so it's reflected in...
You concur with that, Robert, as far as the legal position?
I do.
Okay. All right. When you say memorialize, will you define that?
When I use the word memorialize, we have been acting in this capacity. Let's just go to 8-8A-3 Department Division. That's Administrative Services Department. When was it, Mayor? Right after you took office, there was a decision to create the Parks Department in the that first year of the budget. We also realized that we could lighten the load of the Public Works by moving the Internal Services Division and some things around. We just never put that into the language of the code. And so if you refer to the page 92 that shows how Bob has made those changes, in the ordinance, it just shows cleanly where those positions are and where they function. We've been doing it. We just need to put it into the code so anybody else can read it and see why it was there.
So, Brian, I put you on the spot. Sorry. So are you comfortable with these changes as far as your duties?
Yes, I am.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I move that we approved.
We have a motion.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's vote.
Councilmember McConaughey?
Aye.
Councilmember Hanson?
Yes.
Councilmember Haga?
Yes.
Mayor Robb?
Yes.
Councilmember Southworth?
Aye.
Councilmember Rice?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Bill passes 7 in favor.
Thank you, Council.
Please.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, I think it's under the circumstances, I think it's important to point out, other than two small blemishes on voting records tonight, a 6-1. We pretty much hit 7-0 tonight, so great job.
Motion.
And with that, I move we adjourn.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Southworth and a second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.